And also Binance. Binance is also fighting, and fighting a lot of FUD. CZ is, and basically saying how all the reports about Binance.us is basically false, including one that claimed that CZ took a $250 million loan from Binance.us, which CZ answered, no, they got it backwards. I gave a loan, a $250 million to Binance.us, which they have not repaid. So it's kind of like he said, she said right now. And they also, of course, are battling the SEC. Everyone is battling the SEC. No one likes what the SEC is doing. So, yeah, I agree with Coinbase. We should all stand together and drive Gary Gensler out of office, right? It's just that simple. It is that simple. All right. That's pretty much it overall. Today's looking so far so good. We'll see what the Powell speech brings, but I think today will be a whole lot of nothing. No more rate hike. But it'll be interesting to see what he says about the next FOMC meeting, whether he remains hawkish or he turns more dovish, and I'm sure we will get a reaction one way or another. Now, the past FOMC meetings have gone like this. After he speaks, the market tends to hold well and then immediately dumps. And then the day afterwards, okay, we tend to recover. So we may see the same thing again. That's been the playbook for the last 3 or 4 FOMC meetings. The fundamental of Bitcoin has never, ever, ever been better. They just keep on improving. Here it's just something different. Network processed an all-time high 703,000 daily transactions, right? So even from a transaction standpoint, all-time high. Again, part of the growing fundamentals. It doesn't matter how you measure Bitcoin, other than price. Everything else is basically at an all-time high, right? We have never, ever, ever seen this before. In any of the previous cycles, we had never, ever seen this. Imagine when 2024, the quadfecta hits, and then 2025 with this spectacular fundamentals and with institutional adoption and the trillions that will be flowing into the space, it's going to be unimaginable. Robert Kiyosaki also believes in Bitcoin. I am constantly asked, what price will gold, silver, or Bitcoin be in 2025? My reply, that is a silly question. More important question is, how many gold, silver, and Bitcoins do you have today? Gold, silver, and Bitcoin are bargains today, but not tomorrow. America is broke. Buy GSBC today before stocks, bond, real estate crash and people rush for gold, silver, Bitcoin. That is actually really, really true and insightful, right? It doesn't matter what price Bitcoin be. It matters how many you have today. So this is definitely a time to be buying and accumulating, time to be bullish. I argue time to be greedy rather than bearish, because we're at the cusp of the next parabolic move as we get closer and closer to 2024, right? So, spectacular, guys, spectacular. But first things first, tomorrow, which I think is going to be a good day. I don't think Powell's going to raise rates anymore, right? And overall bring more relief to the market. And depending on what he says, it could be even better than expected, because if he's coming out very dovish saying, I don't think we need any more rate hikes, watch out. The market's going to explode tomorrow. Okay. Now, outside of Bitcoin, of course, there are other bullish projects. Right now, today is actually a pretty good day. You could see most projects are in green. There are some exceptions that are doing even better than Bitcoin, right? But the best performing project of 2023 so far, you may be surprised to learn about this. I certainly was when I read this headline, is Injective. Injective is the top crypto performer of 2023. They have gone up 450%. That's amazing. That's amazing. So what is Injective? They're a DeFi L1 protocol out of Cosmos, okay? And they are their own chain. And they're doing a lot of great things right now, including coming out with something new called NEVM. It's a scaling solution and an interoperability layer, okay, that basically makes it so that dApps are compatible with Ethereum and also Cosmos and also Solana. It's like the trifecta. I don't even quite know how it works, but dApps that's built with NEVM can talk to all three basically ecosystems and all three chains. And that's quite amazing. That is a trifecta. So that is something that Injective is working on. They're also working on 2.0 with their burn, right? Basically, they have this very big burn incentive as well. So that also helps, right? So Injective is actually doing quite well, although I didn't know they were doing that well. And of course, Injective is part of Cosmos, which is a growing layer 0. And there's other L1 chains out of Cosmos. And Cosmos itself is upgrading. They're going to offer liquid staking, but they're going to remove the 21-day locking unstaking period, which is very annoying. 21 days is a very long time, right? So they're going to get rid of that as well. And also there's other things. Injective also has Circle's USDC stablecoin, right? So basic Cosmos, Injective, and there's several others that's within Cosmos ecosystem that are just doing quite well. One of my favorite projects, Cosmos. And Injective, definitely a project to be watching out for. SEC's crypto chief warned more charges are coming to exchanges. Are they referring to Binance or Coinbase or Kraken or Gemini? I don't know, but Gary Gensler is on a rampage, okay? He does not want to lose any more control. That's why he's doing this. So we'll just have to see. But right now, there's a nasty lawsuit with not only Coinbase, but Binance. This morning, I talked about SEC basically complaining to a judge that Binance.us is not complying. They wanted immediate access to their servers, and the judge said no. You have to be more specific, okay? You can't just ask for access to their servers. So I'm glad to see that. And Binance, of course, is fighting back, saying the SEC is being... They just want too much. They just want too much, and they can't comply fast enough, right? So it's kind of a he said, she said kind of thing, right? So we'll see. But SEC overall, they are no good. They're up to no good. Now, speaking of Circle, Circle is also launching USDC on Polkadot. Not a whole lot of people asking me about Polkadot, but it is still one of the top also L0s out there. They have parachains, which is kind of like the L1 chains. So Polkadot's like a L0, L1, right? Don't hear a lot about it. Gavin Wood kind of left the helm. He's still with the project, but not leading the way. But yeah, Circle's expanding. Obviously, getting a major stablecoin like USDC doesn't hurt, right? So good for Polkadot as well.